Hi guys. So Revelation chapter 12 today. I do want to say that this is not something that is in order. It's not going to happen right after the trumpets that we talked about before. And some of this chapter has already happened. So let's read Revelation chapter 12 verse 1. And it says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars." So this is a wonder, okay? That's the word that the Bible uses to describe this. It is more like a vision, okay? It's not a literal thing. It's a representation of something. So this woman represents Israel, okay? If you read Ezekiel chapter 16, verses 7 to 14, it is going to describe the nation of Israel as a woman, okay? Let's read verse 2. "And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered." So this child represents Jesus Christ. We know that he was born out of the nation of Israel. All right, let's read verses 3 and 4. "And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and having 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born." Okay, as we said, this is not literal, okay? You're not actually going to see a pregnant woman running around with a dragon chasing her, okay? These are visions, these are representations. Okay, so this dragon represents Satan. Also, all these verses have already happened, okay? Israel has already birthed Jesus. A third of the stars have already fallen to earth. We know that stars in the Bible usually represent angels. We know that a third of them has fallen down to earth with Satan. Okay, so this dragon represents Satan. The 7 heads are 7 mountains in Israel, because that is where most of this in Revelation is going to take place, in Israel, okay? The 10 horns are 10 kings that will rule, not yet, but they will rule under Satan during this tribulation. There will be 10 kingdoms, okay? The 7 crowns, so these kings, when they have these kingdoms, are gonna rule one out of the 7 ways that they ruled in ancient Rome, okay? So they're either going to be a king, a consul, a dictator, a magistrate, military tribune, emperor, or a word I can't pronounce, but it's Caesars, okay? They will have one ruler over them, and that is going to be the Antichrist, and he is going to be led by Satan, okay? And then it also says that he is to devour her child as soon as it was born, okay? He wanted to destroy Jesus. He wants to destroy our salvation. Obviously, we know how that turned out, what he did to destroy Jesus and how it turned out for us and how it turned out for him. So let's read verse 5. "And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne." Okay, Jesus was born, we know that. Jesus died, we know that. And he was resurrected, right? And right now he sits at the right hand of the Father. He will rule. He will. There will be a time where he will rule on this earth. Verses 1 through 5, all this is past. Okay, all of this has already happened. So let's start into verse 6. "And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of God, that they should feed her 1,260 days." That's 1,260 days. We know from previous chapters that that is 3.5 years, okay? This is the first 3.5 years. Remember, during this time, there is peace with Israel. They're going to be sacrificing. The sacrifices will be recognized or measured by God, okay? This is their peaceful time period. This is the time that it's talking about, the first 3.5 years. Let's read verses 7 to 9. "And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." Okay, this is also the future, okay? If you read the book of Job, you'll know that Satan, he does go into heaven to talk to God. Currently, today, he still goes there to talk to God. So this war where he's going to be cast out completely hasn't happened yet. Okay. So I believe that this point right here is going to be at that 3.5-year mark, because we know that is when the Antichrist will come forward and say that he is God. That is when things are going to get really bad for the ones who live here on the earth. Okay. This is the point where Satan is cast to earth permanently. Okay. And he's angry. At this point is when that peace treaty is going to be broken. Okay. And when the wrath is going to come to earth. God's wrath, and really Satan's wrath as well. Not towards the earth, but towards certain people on the earth. Let's read 10 and 11. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before God, our God, day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. Okay, so that is what Satan is doing right now. He is accusing us day and night before God, okay? But the saved did overcome him by the blood of the Lamb. Satan accuses us. He goes to God and he says, hey, do you see what so-and-so is doing or what so-and-so did? And God says, I see my child. Because all he sees on us is the blood of Jesus. All right, let's read verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, that ye dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Y'all, did you catch that? It says, rejoice, ye heavens, that ye dwell in them. Rejoice at this point, because ye, as saved believers, are going to be living in heaven. Because the woe to the ones who live on the earth. This is the second 3.5 years, okay? This is that time point right there, okay? We also know that at this point he has a little bit of time left, okay? Satan knows that. He knows the Bible. He knows it better than we do, okay? He's read it. He knows what's going to happen. He's got a little bit of time left. And he knows that. So this is the point where he gets really angry. All right, let's read 13 to 16. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Okay, so Satan is really mad, okay? And the church we know is gone. The angel just said, be glad that you live in heaven, because woe to the ones who live on the earth. So we know the church is gone. They're in heaven at this point, okay? Also, Israel has fled. Do you remember when we talked about Matthew 24? The warning that Jesus gave to the Israelites, to the Jews. Let's look back at Matthew 24, 15 to 21. Okay. And it says, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. So we know that was the 3.5-year mark. The Antichrist will stand in the holy place in the temple. Verse 16, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be a great tribulation, such as not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So, that was Jesus' warning. When you see this man stand in the temple and declare to be God. Now, he's talking to the Jewish nation, the Israelites, because we know as the church we won't be here at this point. the Israelites will be. He's telling them, when you see this, go into the wilderness, flee into the mountains. Okay. Let's reread verse 14 here. In Revelation 12, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness. That's where Jesus told them to go, into the wilderness. Into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and a half a time. The time is a year, times is 2 years, and a half a time is half a year. That's 3.5 years. It's the second 3.5 years that Israel needs to be fleeing into the wilderness. Okay? So again, Satan is really, really mad. He's looking for someone to take his wrath out upon. And it's not the inhabitants of the earth, because those are his people. Okay? I mean, point blank, those are the people of the devil. Let's read verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. Okay, the church is gone. We just said that. Israel is in the wilderness. But he wants war with the remnant of her seed. Her seed is Jesus. So the remnant, anybody left that is keeping the commandments of God, has the testimony of Jesus Christ. Now, as we said, the church and the ones who are saved right now will be gone at this time. But there are people on the earth at this very moment who think that they're saved. It's going to get a very bad wake-up call when that rapture happens, because they're not going. There's also going to be people that have sat in church or have, heard family members talk about it, or maybe even seen a video like this, or maybe even done studies on Revelation, that aren't saved, so they're not going with the church. They're going to be on this earth during this time. That is who Satan is going to take his wrath out on, okay? That is where the mark of the beast comes in, and we're going to talk about that in future chapters. That is where the beheadings happen, the martyrs. They're going to be followers of Jesus here on the earth, because they will begin to follow Jesus only after the rapture and after the things they have seen. If you remember, we just talked about a great earthquake, how the 2 prophets had died in the street and they were resurrected after 3.5 days. And there was a great earthquake. And the people that were on the earth said, whoa, God is real. He is real. So some people are going to come to believe even after this. I hope that's not you. I hope you take the time now to figure out if you're going to be here or not. And I hope that you're not. Have a good day, guys.